I'm Craig Smyser with 1835 Realty. Longtime Texans are well versed in Texas history, but with so many newcomers, I figured we'd better bring you all up to speed. So we're going to look at two of the most prominent figures in Texas history on this episode of Discover Austin. Sam Houston is one of the titans of Texas history. He was born in 1793 in Virginia, but his family made their way to Tennessee. At age 20, he joined the U.S. Army and quickly climbed through the ranks. He was elected to the U.S. Congress and then governor of Tennessee. By 1832, he arrived in Texas as he felt it would be full of opportunity. A few years later, he was a major general in the Texas Army. He was a delegate at Washington-on-the-Brazos, signed the Declaration of Texas Independence, then was put in charge of the Texas military forces. He and his army defeated General Santa Anna at the Battle of San Jacinto on April 21, 1836, thus securing Texas independence. Later that year, he was elected the first president of the Republic of Texas. Because of term limits, he could not serve consecutive terms, but was elected again to serve as the third president of Texas in 1841. He was an early advocate of Texas annexation into the United States, but it wasn't until 1845 that there was broad support for that to happen. In 1846, he was elected as one of the first two U.S. senators from the state of Texas. His opposition to the Kansas-Nebraska bill essentially ended his Senate career. He lost his bid for Texas governor in 1857, but was successful in his gubernatorial bid in 1859. As the Civil War approached, he considered himself a Southern man for the Union cause. He believed the war would be won by the North and would devastate the South. Though he opposed secession from the Union, he went along with it in an attempt to avoid bloodshed and strife in Texas. After refusing to take an oath of allegiance to the newly formed Confederacy, he was removed as governor in 1861. He retired to Huntsville, where he died in 1863 at the age of 70. To recap, he served as both President of the Republic of Texas and Governor of the State of Texas. He was also the Governor of Tennessee, giving him the distinction of being the only person to be governor of two different states. And as you may have surmised, the city of Houston is named after him. Stephen F. Austin is known as the Father of Texas because he colonized a sparsely populated area of northern Mexico that would, of course, later become Texas. Like Sam Houston, he was born in Virginia in 1793. He moved around through several states and was recognized as a mature man suitable for leadership positions. In early 1821, the Mexican government granted Austin's father a permit to settle 300 families in Texas. His dad died shortly thereafter, so this permit was transferred to Stephen F. Austin. Known as Austin's Colony, it was a large land area that today covers more than 19 counties in southeast Texas, bounded generally by the Lavaca and San Jacinto rivers, the Gulf of Mexico, and extending up not quite as far as present-day Austin. He was instrumental in surveying and mapping the region. He was skilled at recruiting settlers and handling the administration of the area. By the summer of 1824, almost 300 land grants had been issued, and these are known as the Old 300. Stephen Austin obtained 3 more contracts from Mexico to settle colonies, as well as 1 contract in partnership with Samuel Williams. In total, Austin issued around 2,000 land grants and settled over 8,000 people in Texas. Early on, he was very much a supporter of the Mexican government and tried to keep relations between them and the settlers harmonious. However, as the leaders of Mexico changed, so did the government's attitudes toward the Texans. Eventually, Austin came to agree with those who wanted Texas independence. While he wasn't heavily involved with the actual military side of things, he was instrumental in heading up logistics, such as getting volunteers, arranging credit for weapons, and things like that. After Texas obtained its independence, Austin ran for president, but lost to Houston, who then named him Secretary of State. He was not a hardy man, and after developing pneumonia in late 1836, Austin died at age 43. Of course, the city of Austin is named after him. Both Sam Houston and Stephen F. Austin are giants in Texas history. So while this is just an overview, I certainly invite you to spend some time looking more into the history of these two men and, of course, the general history of Texas. I'm Craig Smyser with 1835 Realty. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Discover Austin. And remember, when you're ready to buy or sell a home in Central Texas, I'm ready to help. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Discover Austin. So you don't miss any future episodes, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, or go ahead and just watch the next episode.